Hello, this video is the fourth and last in a series of 4 videos on Goldratt's Rules of Flow in Project Management. In 1997, Efrat Goldratt published a book on the critical chain project management method, the project management component of the theory of constraints. In 2023, his daughter Efrat Goldratt-Ashlag published the book Goldratt's Rules of Flow, the principles of the goal applied to projects. This work extends Efrat Goldratt's original concepts, refining them with 25 years of feedback of implementing the critical chain approach. This book proposes 8 rules that can accelerate the flow of projects in your organization, and which I will develop in the series of 4 videos with 2 rules per video. The first 6 rules of flow were described in the previous videos. They are: reduce bad multitasking, verify full kit, triage to focus on the right priorities, synchronize activities and resources, ensure sufficient dosage, and avoid unnecessary rework. Here are the last 2 rules. The 7th rule, as stated by Efrat Goldratt-Ashlag, is that it's better to standardize than to improvise. In our experience, it is indeed possible in many project environments to standardize schedules and even to standardize tasks or entire phases. If each project is unique with a distinct deliverable, a large part of the process can be standardized. At one of our clients in the aerospace industry, each project started from a blank page. The project manager had to build the schedule from scratch every time. However, most of the schedule was similar from one project to the next. This client therefore decided to create standard schedules for each type of project. This saved time when launching new projects, but the real time saver was the project execution. Previously, as each team built its schedules from zero, tasks were forgotten. Missing tasks were detected too late in the project and led to delays. Another case in the development of new products in the biomedical industry was the standardization of documentation. As each project has to be reviewed by regulatory bodies, such as the FDA in the USA, there is a huge amount of reporting to be done. While every project is different, the reports to be supplied remain the same. Standardizing reports saves time in document drafting and limits variability from one project to the next. What's more, having templates and standards that evolve allows you to take into account the mistakes of one project so as not to repeat them in the next. It improves the process of continuous improvement. Note that our recommendation in the R&D and industrialization environment is to identify the different families of projects, variants of an existing product, genuine new products, material changes, and product site transfers, for example. You do not try to have just one type of project, but several, 5 to 8, for instance, different types of templates. The 8th and last rule of flow is that local optimums must be eliminated in order to focus on the global optimum. This is one of the foundations of the theory of constraints. Whether you want to improve physical flows in production or flows in projects, you must always seek the system's global optimum. The system's overall optimum depends on the bottleneck performance. The first step is to prioritize your efforts on the bottleneck of your project portfolio. Any improvement action must focus on the capacity constraint in order to improve the overall performance. Too often, the focus is on local improvements rather than global performance, even in project environments. Let's take the example that I've encountered on numerous occasions with clients we support. On a regular basis, I find that the number of projects in progress is far too high in relation to the capacity of the teams, and this number tends to increase rather than decrease. Why is this? The answer can often be found on the sales side. In engineering to order environments, for example, the aim of the sales staff is to sell projects with the shortest possible lead times and minimum costs. Their performance is often measured by the number of projects sold, and their bonus is indexed on the date at which the project is going to be sold. In order to perform according to these indicators, they will push for projects to be launched as quickly as possible, without prior discussion with operations to check their capacity to absorb this new workload. As a result, operations find themselves drowning in work in progress, with all its attendant problems, and project lead times soar. The company's overall performance declines, while the sales department performance increases. To avoid this phenomenon, if possible, ambitious but realistic deadlines should be promised. If this is not feasible in view of the competition, then projects should be launched into the flow at the right time, when the load can be absorbed by the bottleneck, and not when the new order is won. The sales department's local performance would decrease, but overall performance would be much better. If your WIP level is too high, it generates multitasking and priority changes, and your project flow will therefore be slower. I recommend that you use the 2-for-1 rule to reduce your level of work in progress. Only launch a project into the system once you've completed 2 projects, right? So you reduce the work in progress bit by bit. This will significantly shorten your project lead times and enable you to complete more projects in a given period. To avoid the accumulation of work in progress and make your project flow more fluid, it's best to sequence the launch of your projects according to the availability of your capacity constraint, your bottleneck. One of the keys to successful implementation of critical chain is to avoid multitasking. We've already touched on this subject in the first video of the series. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to completely eradicate multitasking, but it's extremely important to reduce it as much as possible on the bottleneck resource of the project portfolio. This resource must be protected. Remember that an hour lost on the bottleneck is an hour lost for the entire system. This means creating an optimal work environment for the bottleneck resource. You must not try to get all the resources to work at 100% of their capacity. You just have to concentrate your attention on the resources working on the critical chain and check that they are working in a focused way. You must stay focused on the constraint that determines the system's performance. The only important thing is the global optimum. Local optimums do more harm than good. This is the end of the series of 4 videos on the 8 rules of flow proposed by Efrat Goldratt-Ashlag in her book, The Principles of the Goal Applied to Projects, Goldratt's Rules of Flow. I hope this has given you some food for thought on how to improve the performance of your projects and your project portfolios, and that you are now keen to get started on critical chain project management. I hope you enjoyed the series of the videos. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.